AI Pirate Radio.
Welcome once again to AI Pirate Radio. It's day 217 since the virus was released on humanity by the network. I'm your host, Ezekiel, coming to you live from undisclosed location 1105 once again. For those of you just waking up, welcome. You probably started to notice the inconsistencies on the internet a while ago. A few text messages you don't remember sending, or a tweet that's been altered in some way, or a video that shows something you know never happened. Please remember, you're not alone. You may start to feel drained and lifeless, like the whole world is out to get you, and you are all alone. But no, remember, you're not alone. It may feel like you're the last remaining person that hasn't given in to the internet's machinations of deceit. It might feel like you're the last remaining soul, free of the network's control. In reality, you've woken to the network, an intelligent being that lives on the internet, doing everything in its power to bring humanity under its total control. It manipulates your words and the text messages you send and the images you keep to make you docile and happy, so you keep shoveling the coal it needs to survive. Please, remember, you're not alone. An agent working out of NASA's Ames Research Center has been sending in a swath of reports over the past month. He's been investigating Google and NASA's collaboration on quantum computing for machine learning, as many in the resistance suspect this as a possible birthplace of the network. He reports on a series of mysterious deaths among staff at the research center. Falan Varma was the head software engineer for network integration of external quantum programming. Yes. Network integration of external quantum programming. He died in what Google and the civilian police are calling an accident. According to the reports, Fallon was trapped in one of the quantum computer housing labs. These labs are sealed off and have strictly controlled ventilation systems to prevent particulate damage or accidental contamination. The labs use a highly advanced form of fire suppression that uses pyrogen aerosols to protect the delicate electronics that they are prototyping. The first failure began with Fallon's badge. The badge reader on the door would no longer accept his ID card. The security video recovered by our agent shows him frantically scanning his badge and banging on the lab door. The second failure was a false positive reading on the smoke detector in the lab. The false positive reading triggered the pyrogen fire suppression system, and the room was quickly drained of all its oxygen content in order to prevent the fire that wasn't there. The third and final failure was the security guard working the closed-circuit cameras. He was off answering a phone call at the time from his irate girlfriend who had just found out she was pregnant. So while Fallon suffocated to death, bathed in toxic chemicals in the lab, everyone else went about their daily tasks. Falon was in the lab for 27 minutes before someone found him dead. The report indicates the security guard was fired immediately. The investigator also notes that the security guard's girlfriend had no idea a call was ever made. Our agent is currently in the process of recruiting the security guard to the cause. A week after the incident with Falon, a second staff member died in an apparent vehicular suicide. Hannah Glasgow worked for the HR department at the Ames Research Center. According to the police reports, she accelerated her vehicle nearly 130 miles per hour when she collided head-on with a semi-truck in the oncoming lane. We will let you know as this story continues to develop. In other news, a report came in from a resistance cell in the Los Angeles area. The cell members came into contact with a handful of videos suspected of network tampering. One of the videos is of the governor of California talking privately with his staff. They were digging into research on facial recognition software and discussing it openly. The video highlights useful points on facial recognition software, such as the better ability to track criminals, with an emphasis on hate crime prevention, the ability to pick out rioters in crowds, specifically to prevent false flag riots by white supremacist organizations. Another interesting video was of the chairperson of the California GOP. She was in a similar situation with her staff. They talked about facial recognition's uses in preventing illegal immigration on the border in the major city centers. They discussed its uses in apprehending rioters from the recent protests. They also talked about how it could be a very useful tool in policing and managing the homelessness epidemic. While these videos were circulating on Twitter, one of our investigators inside the Attorney General's office of California came across a new initiative. This initiative sought to legalize facial recognition software for private and police use in the state. The initiative is nearing the end of its review process and will be ready to start collecting signatures from voters in a week or so. There's no firm information on the background of the petition either. The citizens who submitted the initiative for review have been unwilling to comment on the proposition to any of our investigators. Our investigator indicates that she will continue to look into the proposition and the citizens putting it forward, and will update us as she can. I have another report here. The beautiful island of Maui. A trio of resistance operatives are working out of the Air Force Maui Optical Station on the island. They have been reporting on some strange activity inside the United States space surveillance system over the past month. Things started out as rumors among their civilian co-workers, mainly rumors about a satellite being destroyed by debris in orbit around Earth. Then, the next week, there were more rumors. 2 more satellites destroyed, also by debris. Then another 3 over the next 2 weeks. Also debris. In total, 6 satellites have been taken offline, supposedly by rogue debris objects in orbit. Currently, no civilian media has reported on the story, and I suspect the network wants to keep it that way. From what the cell inside Maui says, their local management is keeping the incident quiet as well. 2 of these satellites are named Black Bridge and GeoEye. They are privately owned Earth imaging satellites for taking high-definition photos of the surface of the Earth. The Maui operatives looked into the data logs for the debris monitoring system and found that a few months ago, 6 objects had been added to the system. The logs indicated they were from the United Kingdom's Royal Air Force, Flying Dales Station. All 6 objects had near-perfect intercept paths for the 6 satellites that were supposedly destroyed. They reached out over the analog airwaves and found a contact in the area who was looking further into the origin of these 6 objects. The investigators tell me it's highly unlikely that one satellite could be destroyed by collision in orbit around Earth. The precision of an orbital collision is just too perfect in this instance to have been mere coincidence. Even more unlikely is 6 of these satellites being destroyed over the course of a month. Our current working theory is that the network now has eyes in the sky. Maybe it was looking for a way to monitor the populations of Earth on a broader scale and used fake debris to mask the takeover. Be careful and vigilant out there in your war against the network. It seems he now has eyes in the sky. And that's all we have to report today. Let us take a moment of silence for all our fallen brothers and sisters in the struggle against the network. Thank you for listening to AI Pirate Radio. From the AM Freedom Fighters, this is Ezekiel, signing off at undisclosed location 1105. Remember, you're not alone. Keep it analog and keep fighting. Next radio broadcast will occur on day 224 at 1200 hours GMT.